Hi, it's Kirill from Reclaim Protocol, and today we're going to talk about fake website attacks against the Reclaim Protocol. Well, to just explain in one short question what it means, we're going to just answer the following question. Basically, why are we sure that the connection between the user and the website is actually with a real website the user wants to use to prove some claim? So let's take a look at a simplified version of Reclaim Protocol. There is a user on the left that wants to prove some claim. It must contact some attester, and a tester contacts the website. So the tester is trusted in this scheme, and the connection, the data that is transferred between all three of them is encrypted using TLS. Well, namely, it is the TLS channel is established between the user and the website, and tester just pushes the encrypted data back and forth. Let's take a closer look at what properties we gain by this scheme, by the TLS, namely. First of all, it's encryption of data, basically secrecy of data, which means that only a sender and receiver can see the data. In this case, those are the user and the website. Second property is integrity of data, which means that data cannot be changed on the way. So whatever the user sent, the website receives, and vice versa. Another nice property, nice feature of TLS that actually helps us to understand that the website is a real website is certificate verification, which means that if we're trying to connect to google.com, the website must send us cryptographic certificate, which assures us that it is exactly google.com because it is verified by some authorities. Besides, the connection, which is established between the user and the website through the trusted proxy, uses target IP, so we directly go to the IP address we would like to contact, so the data goes there. So let's take a closer look at whatever we call a customer view. A doubted customer comes and says, okay, what if there is a collaboration between the user and a malicious website, or the website that is owned by the user, which is here depicted as a dragon, so that somehow the user sends the data to a tester, and the tester, for some reason, sends the data to the malicious website, which is owned by the user, and since the user created the TLS channel, they know encryption, decrypt, well, so they know all the keys, and they can send the data decrypted another way, on other side, so on the malicious website, encrypt it again, send back, and so on. So actually, whenever we send the data, we using TLS, we assume that, okay, so if the data reaches some malicious website, it will not be able to even see what's written there, so it will not be able to respond properly. However, if this website is owned or collaborating with the user, the encryption does not help us at all. And since user holds completely whole encryption keys, they can encrypt and decrypt everything. Further, we'll assume that the fake website, malicious website, is completely owned by the user. So let's zoom in a bit into this arrow and try to understand how is it even possible that, well, providing all the security measures we've just discussed, how is it possible that data reaches some different website, not the target one. Well, actually, it is really possible. Let's take a look at how data is transferred on the internet. So a tester sends it to their closest to their router. Router sends to the closest data center, which sends to another data center, which is usually called autonomous system, that sends to another autonomous system somewhere located maybe on this continent, which sends to another continent, and then the data reaches some website. Well, first idea can be, okay, let's say in some point on this road, one of the nodes is malicious. Well, somehow user managed to crack it, and now they own this router or autonomous system in general, so they can intercept data at this location, decrypt it, then encrypt again, send back, so that the data never reaches the real website. We call this attack corrupted router on the path attack. And let's think if it's an easy attack, and if a user can actually carry it out. Well, first of all, corrupting a router or maybe even a autonomous system, a large data center, well, it sounds tricky, to be honest, because, well, that's the goal of those, to be protected from any corruption. And if they cannot protect themselves, then the whole internet is in danger, to be honest. They use access controls, login, firewalls, and they constantly monitoring, and even if at some point they get corrupted, it will be found out later. So we tend to believe that this type of corruption is highly unlikely. On top of that, after corruption, the malicious router, like the user that owns the malicious router, must precisely mimic the response timing, the track packages sequence numbers. So there must be no delays. And if such delays appear, then right away something will trigger, either on the tester side or somewhere on the internet, that the connection seems to be weird. Something goes not exactly as it was supposed to go, and so the connection highly likely will be dropped. On the other hand, let's think of another way to carry out the malicious website attack. So now the user does not need to corrupt anything so far, no node, no router or autonomous system. However, they just need to reroute traffic somehow. So it doesn't go to a real website. At some point, it goes somewhere else and then reaches some different website, the target website the user wants the data to reach. So the corrupted path attack can be actually carried out. It, as well as previous attack, it must have two phases. First of all, corruption itself, so rerouting the data, and second of all, maintaining synchronization. Same thing as we've just discussed. So let's take a closer look at the first step, which is corruption, which is rerouting of data. It is also known as BGP hijacking. BGP stands for Border Gateway Protocol. So the idea of this protocol is to assure that every router on the internet knows where to send data. So if a router wants to send data to some specific IP address, they have a large table which says, okay, for this IP address, actually to this set of IP addresses, you need to send this data to this router, and so on and so on. So this information is propagated over the internet. Someone sends, hey, I want to receive all the data that is supposed to go to IP 1.1.1.2. So please send it to me. Send it to the closest router or the data center, which then propagates it inside and sends further to their another closest data center and so on. So in order to carry out BGP hijacking, some malicious party must say, hey, I am Google. Please send all the data that's supposed to go to Google to me. Well, not specifically, not exactly Google, but like some of the IPs that Google control. And well, routers can say, okay, sure, I'll transfer this data further and I'll let you know if something for Google comes to me, I'll send it to you. One can wonder how BGP hijacking is even possible. Aren't there any protection mechanisms against it, since the attack is well known and exists for many years? Well, actually, there are some protection mechanisms that we'll discuss in a bit. However, the problem is that they're not mandatory, and not all companies, not all data centers use them. The coverage is actually quite high, maybe up to 70–80%, but we can't be always sure that the data goes through those protected servers, protected routers. So that is why in a bit we'll also discuss specific protection mechanisms that Reclaim uses to even minimize the probability of BGP hijacking. So let's take a look at the protection mechanisms. As I've just mentioned, one of them is just route validation using RPKI, which kind of means that when someone sends such an announcement, they must provide their, let's say, ID. Well, basically a certificate that, hey, I am actually google.com and I'm just, updating roads so that now please send this data to me. And so other parties, other routers on the internet, they know, okay, this is really google.com. As I said, well, coverage is not 100%. It's quite high, but we cannot be sure that all the routers, all the data centers, they all use it. Another thing is traffic monitoring tools, which may catch that. Okay, so this guy has never sent anything connected to google.com. Like, why do they just out of nowhere pretend they're google.com? So they catch this kind of weird behavior and then can say, stop, we believe something's going on. Some malicious party just sent this announcement. Once again, some data centers, some companies use these tools, some do not use. So we can never be sure that once we want to prove some claim, that the data will actually go through those routers and autonomous systems that actually use these tools or use our PKI so they can catch it. On the other hand, let's take a closer look on how BGP hijacking can work exactly in the case of Reclaim protocol. Okay, so there is a tester which sends data to some real website, and somehow it reaches some fake website. As we've discussed before, TLS provides us with a very nice setting in which we are able to verify the certificate of the website. The certificate is verified in the very, very beginning of the connection establishing. So first of all, the certificate must be verified by the attester. So if hijacking already happened, well, then the fake website will not be able to provide the real certificate, and the tester will just notice it and will just drop the connection. So actually, in the case of Reclaim, the connection must be established between the tester and the real website. Real website must provide a real certificate, which then will be verified by the tester, and only after that the user can carry out BGP hijacking to reroute the traffic to a fake website, which means that they have like maybe a second, maybe a couple seconds to carry out this attack, so that data goes to a different path and reaches a fake website. This is significantly more difficult than just regular BGP hijacking. In regular case, if there was no certificate verification, the user would be able to just reroute the traffic beforehand, assure that, okay, seems like I've succeeded, data goes to a fake website, so now I can start creating the claim. The tester will right away connect to a fake website, so everything goes smoothly. However, the tester already has a connection with the real website, already has some expectations on delays, on whatever traffic must come, on all the small details, and only then, only after the certificate verification, the user is able to reroute the traffic so it goes to some different location, to some different router website, and the fake website will start answering, and there is a really, really high chance that the tester or someone on the network will notice, wait, something's going on. Like something is weird in this connection. Like 2 seconds ago, it was way faster. The delays were way lower, which actually creates significant difficulties for the malicious user who wants to carry out this attack. Lastly, let's discuss protection mechanisms that Reclaim uses against BGP hijacking. Even though we've just discussed that this attack is incredibly difficult, we want to be sure, we want to even minimize the probability of it happening. So first of all, very simple solution would be to just carry out the same TLS session with the same attester several times with the same website. In each TLS session, in the very beginning, there must be a certificate verified. So if somehow the malicious user manages to reroute data during the first session, they must actually reroute it back before the second session starts, so that when the second session begins, the certificate verification happens again, and it must be the real website who is talking to the tester. And then, if malicious user wants to again show some fake data from the fake website, they must route traffic again during the second connection, and then route it back by the end of the second connection. So the third connection starts with a successful certificate verification by the tester, which makes this attack exponentially more difficult. Another way to avoid this attack would be to use proxies distributed across the world. So if some local part of network is rerouted, well, not all the proxies will try to connect to exactly the same server if they want to reach google.com. If one proxy is located in Asia, another one is located in America, then they will try to reach physically different servers. So if the user wants to reroute all of their traffic, they will have to carry out BGP hijacking for all of these parts of the internet, so that all the testers across the world, they're all rerouted to this fake website. And the third protection mechanism that we actually use in Reclaim is just monitoring specific BGP announcements. It means that, so if there is a connection between a tester and the website, and we know the specific IP address of the website we're talking to, so we just monitor all the BGP announcements in the world, and if we notice that some rerouting happened, and it affects our IP address that we have a connection with, we just drop the connection. That's it. If there is something suspicious, the connection is dropped and the user is asked to try again. That's it. That is what actually protects us from any potential BGP hijacking that can happen. Thank you for your attention. Drop the comments, send your opinions about BGP hijacking, about fake website attacks. We'll be happy to discuss them all.